Google Classroom. So Google Classroom is where I'll be sharing some as much as I'll be doing them on WhatsApp. There'll be an organized way of giving like the notes etc. So I'm going to share the code in the WhatsApp group. But before that, let me showcase it to you briefly. Let me share my screen to the respective, lest I forget. Okay, there it is. I'll be sharing in a few, don't worry. Okay, so let me share the screen on the other side. There it is. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Thumbs up. Okay, great. Now, as you can see here, this will be Daraja STK. So I uploaded some few materials. You already saw the course project. I introduced it early. We haven't chosen it yet. We'll be choosing it later on, not right now. Remember, the deadline is like a week after we are done, so don't worry about that. Now, in the project summary, just to recap, in the project summary, we are going to have like so the objective is to guide students through the development of a simple but practical web application that integrates Safaricom M-Pesa Daraja API for payment processing. Yeah, and then we're going to look at samples. For instance, we're going to look at a movie ticket payment system. We're going to look at an event or concert ticket system. So you'll choose one of them. I've already decided that we're going to okay, I might even go through some of three or two of them, but right now in this session we're going to look at the movie ticket payment system, not as a whole but just as a way of introducing you, yeah, for those who are new and for those who are seasoned. Now, the other thing you're going to choose one of these. So event, concert ticketing system, they're a bit different. Then we're going to have a food ordering and payment application. You're going to have a digital product purchase system. We are going to have a circle contribution system. Yeah, so you're going to choose one of those. And then learning outcomes, we expect you to be able to set up and authenticate the Daraja API. We expect you to initiate M-Pesa STK push transactions. We expect you to collect, validate, and store user input appropriately. We expect you to design and build forms, user interfaces, etc. We expect you to work with databases to manage dynamic data, etc. Now, that is the project summary. Now, the other thing I posted is the course prerequisites. Yeah, so what you should know before we even go through the course. Now, something to note is this is not going to be handy today. We are not going to use any of these. We are going to do more of an overview of how things work before we get into some hands-on. Yeah, so it is important. I have chosen this path because if I start with the hands-on, it will be a little bit fragmented. We'll be having this one here, and then when it comes to bringing them together, it will become difficult to see how everything fits in together. But now, if I'm able to give an overview, then I start going to the individual, then we fit them together, it will become easier. Yeah, so those are the prerequisites. Now, I also uploaded an overview. An overview is basically what you're going to look at today. In the Google Classroom, you'll see we have the PDF we'll be working with. So there it is. I also made some flowcharts, something visual for you to be able to understand how things go from the top to the bottom. Am I even sharing? Let me see. Yes, I am. Now, how things will be flowing from top to bottom. Yeah, so for instance, we have database interaction, etc. We'll look at them in the course of the session, yeah, as the session goes by. Now, allow me to share the class code early enough. So let me copy it and send it to you via WhatsApp. You'll join later on once the session is done. Yeah, you just click on the link on the WhatsApp group, the new one which Benjamin has just created, and then it will take you directly there. Yeah. Okay. So if that's clear, you can give me a thumbs up. If that's clear, so thumbs up is usually the way I usually communicate, meaning that you're okay. You can give me a thumbs down. If not, I'll take notice of it, and then I will respond to the query or the issue. Okay, great. Now we are going to get started, and to get started, we are going to look at how a system works, just as an overview. Yeah, we are trying to see how does this Daraja API come into play. So as opposed to me jumping right into it, how does it come into play? Now, if you've worked with databases, especially the relational ones, the Akina MySQL, SQLite, PostgreSQL, etc., you can give me a thumbs up. If not, you can give me a thumbs down. If you've worked, or even if you looked at it while we are looking at the prerequisite, you can give me a thumbs up. If not, you can give me a thumbs down. Okay, I haven't seen a thumbs down, so that illustrates that everyone is at par, which is good. Now, if you have built a system, doesn't have to be big, even if it's a personal project, you can give me a thumbs up. A system whereby maybe there's a database interaction, of course. Give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down. I need to see how I'll address these. Okay, I can see thumbs up. Okay, good. Now, the next thing I want to look at, now that I know we are almost at the same place, yeah, I'm going to show you a sample. Hopefully it works, yeah. Of course, I'm confident it works. I'm going to show you a sample of an implementation of Daraja API. So most of the time I implement two payments, either it's card payment, M-Pesa, etc. And then we have the other type of payment is where we use now the Daraja directly. Yeah, so you can have two types. I'm going to show you the Daraja, how it's a sample. So allow me to share my screen. There it is. Where does it go to? There it is. Okay. So the system is called CUNY Foundation. So this one has payment integrated. Okay, so basically I'm going to sign in. I hope this is the account I'm supposed to use. Highly unlikely. Okay, let me just do a quick, I don't remember which account I always use, so I'm going to just do a quick one and then it shall be well. Okay, this is the password reset in my email. Copy link. I'll just paste it here directly. Okay, so password, I'll just suggest a strong one. Then I'll submit. Okay, not that one. It's a different one. Okay, sign in. Okay, so this is my profile. Okay, it's manager. It's fine. Now I'm going to go to an auction. So basically, in this system, basically it's like it's a bid. So you do a bid, and then based on your bid, then something will happen. Now I'm going to do a bid for this smartphone. So I'm going to place a bid for this smartphone. So basically, I'm going to click on place bid. Then it will ask me for my number. I'll just put that. So you can see, if I put 011, it does automatically 254. I'll explain why later on. And then here you can see the format is this exactly, yeah. So I'll explain why it's that. So I'm going to just use my number. Okay, it's now a blessing and a curse. Okay, 01147423448. Then the bid amount, I'm going to, the minimum is 50. I'll just put a 50. I'll place my bid. So this is the Daraja API working. So you can see up here, request accepted for processing. I'm checking my phone. So on my phone I'm supposed to enter my PIN. There it is. Let's wait. And then you can see service request is processed successfully. And then when I view my bids, I can see I have a bid of 50 shillings right here. And it was done at 7:55 p.m., which is right now, yeah, May 12th. So it has been updated in the system. So that's how Daraja API we expect it to work. I haven't shown you how the prompt comes on the phone, but we will we'll see it as time goes by. So that's an example of Daraja API. Now, for those who did not know about it, was it even showcasing? Did you see what I was illustrating? Oh, all right. I was worried I had not. Okay, so that's how basically you're supposed to pay via the system. and then the system should reflect the payment. Yeah, the system should reflect the payment. And if you cancel, of course, you cannot add a payment and the person cancel. So such things are the things that we need to counter. Now, let me ask a question. What are some of the challenges that can face you when making a payment? Number one, I'll say there's no network connectivity. That is one problem. Network connectivity. Any other problem you can think of that can make the payment to fail? Anyone? You can just raise your hand, make it interactive a little bit. Anything that you can think of that can make the payment to fail? Anything? What have you ever gone to make a payment? Yes, Emran.
Yes, the balance might be low.
Yeah, good. Low balance. Yeah, so insufficient funds. Yeah. What else do you think can make an M-Pesa payment be unsuccessful? Anything else? Network connectivity, low balance, any other thing? Yes. Yeah, number not existing. Good. Number not existing. Any other thing?
Power outage.
Good. Power outage. Okay. Power outage. Wrong pin.
At one of the nodes.
Wrong pin. We also have exceeded Fuliza. Okay, that's new. Exceeding Fuliza. What else? Good. Yeah, so those are some of the reasons that we can find that a payment can fail. Now, you as a developer, you should be able to cater for all that. However, good news is that it is very simple, yeah, so that you don't have to struggle a lot. You don't need to cater for all of them. I'll give you a way, yeah. Now, to begin with, let's look at a certain system. Let's look at this movie ticketing system. Now, I've chosen this system. Let me share my screen. So that you can look at these. Now, we are going to look at a movie system, and we are going to look at how can you purchase a ticket and you be able to record that. However, as I said prior, we are not going to write any code. Yeah, we're not going to write any code. What you're going to do is looking at an overview. Why is it important? As I iterated earlier, is for you to understand how does the M-Pesa come in. Now, give me, what do you think happens when you're buying a movie ticket? Of course, nowadays we hardly go to movies unless you're taking someone out or maybe family, etc. But give me, what do you think happens when you buy a ticket? So can you give me like a process that is in your mind? How does it happen? Anyone? How does it happen? We need to understand, how does it happen? Yes, Philip?
So you can decide on what movie are you watching and what time will you be watching the movie. Then after you've decided on the time and the movie, make a payment to the movie theater.
Good. Yeah, so you do that. So you do as Philip has said, you decide which movie you want to watch, what time do you want to watch it, and then you select the movie and then you pay for the movie. Yeah, so there's that. Now, with that in mind, any other person, I saw a text here saying that select an available seat. Yeah, there's that. You can select an available seat and decide where you'll sit at. Good. Now, in our example, we are going to make it very simple. Now, remember, I'm not here to teach you how to design a system. I'm not here to teach you how to build a system. I'm not here to teach you any framework or teach you any programming language. I'm here to teach you how does the payment come in. How do you record it, and how at the end of the day you don't have money being lost. You sell a ticket and there's no money that has come in. Now, in this case, let's look at a movie purchase system. Yeah, so I created a document. Basically, we are going to look at instructions. Basically, what is in the project document. We are going to draw an ERD diagram. Now, if you're together until this point in time, you can give me a thumbs up. If you're together until this point in time, give me a thumbs up before we proceed to the next phase. If you're together, give me a thumbs up. If you have a question, you can ask so that I can respond to it before we proceed. Okay, great. We are at par. Wonderful. Now, with that in mind, we are going to look at an ERD diagram. Now, one of the things that make implementing difficult is when your database design is not proper. Yeah. So you find that a database design that is is not just good. Yeah, so we find that it is designed not in the proper way. I'm going to provide the ERD diagrams for all the projects, yeah, so that the ERD does not become a hindrance, yeah, so that also you can see how the samples are made. They will always be different, so they're not going to be the same. And then it's your work to observe how various scenarios are handled in various ways. Now, we're also going to create a database. I don't want you to struggle trying to find the code for writing a database, because it's not a database class, so there'll be code for that. And then you're going to look at the system workflow, basically the payment flow aligned to the DB schema. Now, in this case, remember that this database plays a major role. Of course, you can decide to store in files, but a database plays a major role. So we'll be sticking to how the database works and is our system works. In my experience, it is in my conclusion. Of course, things are meant to change in future if it is so, because ideas change. However, I'm convinced that without a proper database schema, then your system, if it's an interactive one, it's meant to fail at some point in time. Yeah, you'll be writing wrong queries, you'll be writing wrong joins, etc. Yeah, so we're going to look at we're going to align to the database schema. The next thing, we're going to look at how the movie selection and ticket booking flow. I think here there's a flowchart diagram or something. And then we are going to look at the callback handling. Now, how do you handle a successful one? How do you handle a failed transaction? Then optional login, we're not going to look at that. It's just 2 sentences, I think. Then you're going to look at the appendix, where we look at the different flows. We'll be moving to appendix, going back, etc. Now, to get started, what's our task? Now, we have users we want users can purchase tickets for movies listed in the system by selecting a movie and making payment via M-Pesa. Yeah, by M-Pesa, we just use the Daraja API. That's what we're implying. And then, what are the key features? Number 1, the person should be able to list movies fetched from the database. Yeah. Then number 2, the person should be able to provide their full name and their phone number. Of course, full name is just for the ticket. We want to know who is entering it. So you can decide to add other things. Let's say you want security, you can decide to add, what if we can take also the ID number? What if you can take something else, yeah, passport or something, yeah? So in this case, you're just going to take the full name and the phone number. Now, why phone number? Phone number is the one which will enable us to buy the ticket. So we'll send it to the Daraja API and then to work on it. Now, remember, some time back we said that a wrong number can be a reason for a transaction to fail. Yeah, so a wrong number can be a reason for a transaction to fail. And then you also look at the format of the phone number at some point in time. Now, the next thing you want to look at is the system sends an SDK push to the provided phone number, and then we have a successful payment, a ticket record is generated and saved. Then users are not required to log in. Yeah, so in this example, I didn't want users to log in because I wanted to see how do you handle a situation whereby people don't log in. Let's say you're booking to, okay, I know SGR, so SGR there is no need for logging in. You just do it and then it prompts you and then it works and then etc. So how do you handle a situation where there's no logging? This is the simplest. Yeah, and then option, a ticket confirmation. This is optional. I don't think maybe we'll implement. This was just like teaser for you to, not a teaser, maybe something for you to work on to challenge yourself. Okay, if the features are clear, give me a thumbs up. If you're okay until this point in time, we now know what you're trying to do. Give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down and ask a question. Yeah, don't feel shy. Okay, great. Now, the next thing you're going to look at is the ERD diagram. Okay, I'm going to ask a series of questions and then you're going to give me different emojis. Now, if you do understand what a relation or a table is, give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down. If you do know what a relation. So for those who are seasoned, don't worry. I'm just trying to ensure that everyone is at par. Okay, great. If you know what a foreign key is, give me a thumbs up. What a foreign key is, give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. Now, if you don't give me a thumbs down, then I'll explain, yeah? So, great. Now, the next thing, if you know what a one-to-one relationship is, give me a thumbs up. One-to-one relationship. Okay, good. If you know what a many-to-many relationship is, give me a thumbs up. Many-to-many. Okay, great. Now, if you know what a one-to-many, give me a laugh. Can you laugh? Give me a laughing emoji. If you know what one-to-many is, give me a laughing. Okay, great. Now, we are at par. I'm happy that we all know what you're talking about. Now, something to take note at is in all my design, it is almost non-existent to find me using a many to many. Let me say I will never use a many to many. It is impossible. I cannot. So many to many, they are never in my designs. Well, one to many can be, but I often combine them into a single relation. Yeah. So I try to eliminate many to many. I try to eliminate one to one. Yeah. So I always remain with one to many. Now, in this case, we have the movie relation and the ticket relation. In normal lingo, this is movie table and ticket table. Can someone tell me the relationship between movie and ticket? Relationship between movie and ticket. Anyone? What's the relationship between movie and ticket? Okay, I need to be showcasing this tab only. Let me do so it can be moving with ease. Okay, can someone explain to me you can just raise your hand or you can speak up, the relationship between movie and ticket. By relationship, I just want you to explain which one is in the one side, which is in the many side, or how you understand it. Anyone? Yes, Florent. Okay.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So I think it's a one-to-many relationship.
So which one is in the many side?
The tickets table.
Okay, great. So if you are to state it, you state that a movie can have many tickets, but a ticket can only be associated to one movie. Yeah. So a movie can have many tickets, but a ticket can be associated to only one movie. In the same way, a ticket can have several push requests. Of course, it's supposed to be one-to-one, but I have my reasons why I put it like that. Yeah, so a ticket can have many push requests, but a push request can have only one ticket. Now, why do I do that? Sometimes the push request can fail, and then you have to initiate another one. So if you initiate another one, you can find that you initiate another push request. I'll explain what a push request is. Now, a push request is when the moment, we do the STK push. Now, I call it STK-IN push. STK-IN push. So STK, I think, is standard toolkit or something, sim toolkit. And then IN, it reached a point they no longer use in addition to the toolkit, they also use internet. Yeah. I think the IN means the internet part. So we call it STK-IN. Now, the STK push, we involve a push whereby you're given the prompt. So that's why you call it a push request. Yeah. So this is a name I gave to such a thing. I'll explain later on why it is relevant. Now, if you're okay until that point, yes, Salim.
I have a question. When you said that, when let's say specific request fails, let's say if it's you made the relationship between the ticket and the push request one-to-one.
Yes.
What will happen? Let's say if it fails and you tried again to do the push request.
So if I was doing that scenario, instead of creating a new record, I will update those particular fields. So let's say I made there's a ticket. If it is a one-to-one, of course I want to put two tables. I'll take the checkout request ID and bring it to the ticket, because I told you I don't do one-to-one. If it's a one-to-one, I combine them into a single relation. Are we together until that point in time?
Yes.
And then after doing that, now if the first one fails, I will remove the checkout request ID for the initial one. We'll look at what a checkout request is, and then when I remove it, I'll just replace it with the new one. Yeah, so just a replacement instead of a deletion. Is it clear?
It's not clear yet.
All right. Now, if I was to do it like for them to be together, I'll probably do something like this. Let me show you. So let me go here and look for the code. Let me share my whole screen for that matter, for ease of navigation. So here we have, okay. Okay, here we see we have our first table. You can see that called movie. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now here we have our first table called movie. It has the movie ID, the title, the description, the show time, the price, date created, last updated, and then we have the push request, right? Which has the fields that we outlined, and thereby we have the ticket ID as a foreign key. Yeah? Yeah? We're just iterating what we had, nothing new. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, speak so because I cannot see the two screens at the same time. And then here we have the ticket. So ticket is basically the one holding the different things about a ticket. So you can see ticket has a movie ID. Or maybe I failed to explain. Okay, a ticket has, let me start from the top. Now, a movie, I'll respond to your question, don't worry. Is that okay? Let me just explain and then I go to your response, yeah? Now, is it okay, Salim?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, in my design, we have a movie whereby a movie has a title, it has a description, it has the short time. Let me get out of here. It can be a little bit.
Yes.
It has a short time. It has a, here it is. It has a short time, which is the date. So when is it happening? It has the price, which is a decimal. Basically, it can be 100, okay, not 100. Let's say 700 shillings, 900, 500, etc. Then we have a date created and the last updated. Now, that's our movie table. On the other side, we have a ticket. So in the ticket, what am I doing? I'm storing the ticket ID. I'm storing the movie so that it's a foreign key. If you understand that the movie here is a foreign key, give me a thumbs up. If you understand that the movie is a foreign key and you understand what is happening, give me a thumbs up. Right here, movie ID, it's a foreign key. If not, give me a thumbs down. If not, give me a thumbs down. If not, give me a thumbs down. Okay, people are not responding. What's up? If you're not understanding, give me a thumbs down. It's not a bad thing. It's a quest to get to know more. Okay, yeah, so we have that. We have it as a foreign key. And then we have the customer name, we have the phone number. Those are the things that maybe you can, the customer name maybe can appear on the ticket. We have the quantity. You can decide you have 3 tickets or 4 tickets, yeah, as opposed to 1. And then total amount is basically the quantity times the price, yeah. So total amount is, if you want to know the total amount to be charged, you can say, let's say you bought 2 tickets, it will be the price of 1 ticket, which is here, times the quantity. So if it was 900, it will be 1800. If that's clear, give me a thumbs up. Total amount and the number of tickets, the quantity. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. Quantity and the total amount. Okay, yeah. So here we are trying to account for what if they buy 3 tickets. Yeah. So there's that. Now, and also we are assuming that in this case the name is not that important. So as long as it is a valid one, but you need to know who purchased it. Now, the other thing we have here is the M-Pesa receipt number. Sorry, we have the payment status. Now we have 3 payment status. Number 1, the payment can either be pending. This is my design. It is either pending. Number 2, it is either completed, or number 3 is either failed. So we have 3 things pending, because at first when you send the STK push, we are not sure whether the payment is successful or it's failed. So what do? You say pending. Once it's successful, you just say successful or complete. Once it's failed, you just say failed. If it's clear on the payment status, give me a thumbs up. If payment status makes sense, give me a thumbs up why it is important. Payment status. If it's not, give me a thumbs down. Am I having latency? Benjamin, can you confirm whether you can hear me in real time?
You're okay. You're okay.
Okay, yeah. If not, give me a thumbs down. I will explain payment status. If you understand the 3 conditions and why payment status is there, give me a thumbs down. If you don't understand, if you understand, give me a thumbs up. It's important, yeah. Okay, Florent doesn't understand. Now, let's say you're making a payment. Now, when you make the payment, it has to go to Safaricom and then it comes to your phone. If you agree on that, give me a thumbs down. You make the request and then it comes on your phone for you to enter the PIN. Give me a thumbs up if you understand that. Then good. At that state, you don't know whether the payment is complete or it failed. If you agree with me, give me a laugh. Give me a laugh. If you understand that at that state, you don't know whether the payment is complete or it's failed. So what do? You give it a status of this payment is pending. Yeah. So this payment is pending. It's neither complete and it's neither failed. Yeah. So we can say these tickets, they are pending. So when I, as the manager of the site comes, I will know that there's an ongoing transaction or the person even did not look at anything. Yeah. So that's what I will know. There's an ongoing transaction. That this is pending, this person has not finished the transaction, this is pending, this one is like that. If you understand that, give me a thumbs up. The pending state, if you understand that, give me a thumbs up. But now we said that we have either 2 things. Number 1, it's either the transaction fails or the transaction becomes successful. If you understand that, give me a thumbs up. The transaction can either fail or be successful. Now, with that in mind, we have agreed that we have several reasons why the transaction can fail. Yeah, but if everything goes well, it can be successful. Now, if the transaction has failed, you add in the system that this transaction failed. So what is the payment status? It's a failed status because this past transaction, for one reason, maybe there is network issue, maybe it was a wrong PIN, maybe they had an exited full user, maybe the number does not exist, or maybe there is a power outage, or there is low balance. For any of those reasons, the transaction failed. So what do? You register that this purchase of a ticket was failed. Yeah, so if they need to do again, maybe they do the process again. But in this case, this transaction has failed. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. Good. Now, the other scenario is success. So there's a chance that this person entered the right PIN. There was good network. The number was valid number. Then you can also find that the balance was okay. They had more money or equal money to what was requested. So what happens? If that is the case, then you find that the payment was successful. Now, you remember that you need to register in the system that this payment was indeed successful. Yeah, so that even on our end, if the person is to print the ticket, they can be able to print. Let's say you're making a payment for an invoice. Let's say you're buying a domain. That domain can be given to you because the payment has been successful. Yeah, so that's when you have the third status. So remember, number 1 is pending. Number 2, the status is failed. Number 3, it's completed. I always call it completed. You can say successful, etc. If it's clear on the payment status, give me a thumbs up. If it's clear on the payment status, give me a thumbs up. So in every system, so this one is not for only this system. In every system, ensure you account for all those 3 states. So there must always be a payment status. You can add other things, but ensure that payment status is there. This is my advice, of course. Over time, maybe you can become seasoned too, and then you can decide to make your own decisions, which might be wise. So, but in this case, ensure you save the payment status, because how will you know that this payment failed? How will you know that this purchase of this ticket was successful, etc. Okay, if you're together until that point in time, you can give me a laugh. If you're together until this point in time, you can give me a laugh. Okay, great, wonderful. Salim, I've not reached your question. Don't worry, I'll reach there at some point in time. Now, the other thing, let's continue analyzing away with that terminal thing. Now, the next thing we need to do is M-Pesa receipt number. Now, from the top, you have said ticket ID is generated by the system. Movie ID generally refers to the movie that we want. Customer name is your customer name, yeah? You can be anything. It doesn't even matter to Safaricom. We just know as a system, we need to know who purchased this ticket. Is it James? Is it John? Is it Mary? Yeah, we need to know. Now for the phone number, it's the one which will go to Safaricom. We need to know which is the phone number that is going there. Now for the quantity, we need to know how many tickets are you purchasing. Total amount, well, I always do this because sometimes when querying, I don't want to do aggregation, summation every now and then. Yeah, so I just store it there. Now, just to ensure you update it. Now, total amount is basically the price times the quantity. Oh, I'm moving hands here. Okay, now, payment status, we have agreed it can either be failed, pending, or successful, yeah? So, even when you come here, when you look here, it must be here somewhere. You can see here, the NM, so we have only pending, it is paid or failed, yeah? So the paid part is just successful, yeah? So it is either pending, it's either failed or paid. So at the beginning, it's always pending. And then after that, based on the transaction, you now change. Now, the next thing is the M-Pesa receipt number. Well, some might not store it. I always store it because sometimes a client can bring an issue. He calls to the office, what happened, my transaction, this one I paid. Now you need to refer, which, can you give me a receipt number to confirm that it's actually that, yeah? So M-Pesa receipt number is the one that you usually receive. It's usually something like TX blah blah blah, T something, T something. If you have seen something like that, give me a thumbs up. The T something, like a complex number at the beginning. Yeah, so that's the receipt number. It will come to you. Safaricom will give it to you. Why is it of importance? For me, it is important. You can decide not to store it, but for me, it is important. Why? Because it enables me to know that it is actually this purchase that was done. It is actually this purchase that was done. Now, I'm going to show you a sample. I hope I'm sharing the whole screen. Okay, now, here you can see I'm storing the receipt number. If you check my phone, the message that came from Safaricom to my phone, the receipt number is the same. Yeah? So the receipt number is the same. I always store receipt number because I find it convenient in my case. Even when you look at the other transactions for the people, of course, I won't show you that. The receipt number is always there. Yes, the receipt number is always there. If you're together until this point in time, you've understood the receipt number, what is it? Give me a thumbs up. If you've understood what the receipt number is, give me a thumbs up. So Safaricom will provide it. Don't worry. Where will it come from? We'll look at where it's coming from. If there's a question, you can give me a thumbs down and then you can respond. Thumbs down doesn't mean anything negative, just means you want a clarification on something. Yes, Hashim.
I wanted to ask this, when it comes to the tickets, why did you put the payment status in the tickets table? Why didn't you put it in the push request table?
Now, you're forcing me to go ahead of time. Now, because push request, I said push request is basically like every time a push request is done. Now, let's say I made a push request. Actually, as a matter of fact, push request table is just a table to assist us to keep track of something called the checkout request ID. It doesn't even do anything much. We'll reach to it maybe at a later point in time and then it will be a little bit clearer. Let me not confuse you at this point in time. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's an assistive table as opposed to just enabling us. I will explain why the receipt number is on the ticket side. Yeah, I'll explain why. Now, the next thing is the transaction date. Now, this transaction date basically, when you look at my example here, of course, I think I made a formatting issue. Actually, M-Pesa will send you a date time like this. So it will send you a string whereby we have 2025 of May the 12th at 19:55 with 20 seconds. This is when the payment was made, as in how it was recorded on Safaricom side. So that's basically what we'll be storing here, yeah, in the payment transaction date. Yeah, so that's what we'll be storing in the transaction date. It will be provided by Safaricom. If that's clear, give me a thumbs up. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up on what transaction date is. So basically, Safaricom will give it to us, and then it is my role to now store it. Okay, I don't know why I store it, because sometimes the reason let me give the reason why I store it. Now, sometimes you can make a transaction now, and then it now appears like 2 minutes later. Yeah, so I find it maybe convenient to store it. Yeah, so that's why I store it. So you can find that the time that you made it on the system and the time that the actual transaction was done on the other side is not the same. Yeah, so that's why I'm accounting for that. If we are clear until that point in time, give me a thumbs up. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. Okay. Now, in this point in time, I'm going to skip the other table called push request, because you cannot understand it unless we look at what a checkout request ID is. Yeah, so if you do not understand what a checkout request ID is, then it will become very difficult to understand the push request. If you're okay with that deal of ours, you can give me a thumbs up. If you're okay with that deal of ours, give me a thumbs up. That you're not looking at, we're not going to look at the push request table until you understand what a checkout request ID is. Okay, I hope we are all at par. If we are not lost, I hope no one is lost. If you're not lost, you can give me a thumbs up. If you're lost, you can just laugh and then I will respond to your query. I want us to move together. Yeah, give me a thumbs up if you're not lost. If you're lost, you can just laugh. Yeah, nothing bad, you just need a clarification because it's your right to do so. Clarification because it's your right to do so. Okay, great. I'm happy that you're all at par. Now, here we are going to jump at this model right here. I call it models. Now, we are going to look at the database. This is just the code for creating the database. This is just the code for creating the database. I also respond to the previous, Salim's previous question once we understand what a push request is. Now, how does the system work? Now, what's the system workflow? What's the payment flow aligned to the DB schema? Now, before handling any payments, ensure a movie table contains at least one record. Now, why do we have at least one record? Because at the end of the day, before we make a payment, we must make a payment for a movie. So if the movie is not available in the system, then what are we purchasing a ticket for? If you understand why that statement is there, give me a thumbs up. If you understand why the statement is there, give me a thumbs up. So how can you purchase, if there's no movie in the system, what are you purchasing then? Yeah, so that's a condition. Good. Now, with that being said, when you're going to make a payment in the back end, ensure that the movie that they're suggesting is actually there. This is a common mistake. You find that you're recording a movie that's not there, and this is often caused by if your relationships are not good. Yeah, so ensure that the movie is there. Okay, great. Now, the next thing you're going to look at, what do you do? So number one, you display the available movies. Yeah, so you display the available movies. So what do? You fetch and display all records. So movie ID, etc. So in this case, of course, you don't need to know the movie ID. Basically, you're going to just click on an image of a movie. If you agree with me, give me a thumbs up. Most likely, you won't be knowing the movie ID. The end user will just be clicking on a movie, and then the movie ID will be selected in the background. If you don't understand that, give me a thumbs down, then I will explain. If you don't understand what I'm trying to say, give me a thumbs down. Yeah, so when the end user comes, they won't be looking for a movie. I think I can show you an example. Is it like that? It is it, well. Okay, it's not that. What movies do we usually watch? Or let me look from the other account. Now, in this example, you'll find that, oops, hopefully nothing, oops. Now, in this example, someone will just come and click on a movie like that. So they'll click on a movie and they don't know any details like what is the movie ID. Now, let me ask for the last time. If you understand that, now give me a thumbs up. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. Yeah? Yeah, good. Yeah, so they'll just be going there and selecting a movie instead of knowing, what is the movie ID? So don't start displaying for your user the movie ID. Of course, I know you know that, so no worries about that. Now, the next thing, what do? The user selects a movie. Like I've shown you, I'll just come here. Sorry, VPN is not working. Okay, I'll come here and then I'll just select a movie. Yeah, so I'll just come and select a movie like that. Once I select a movie, then maybe I can be given the prompt to give, let's say the phone number, etc. If you understand that, give me a thumbs up. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. If the picture is okay, that you'll just go, you click on the movie, then the movie you'll maybe be asked, what's your phone number, yeah, something of the sort, or the number of tickets. So two things: what's the number of tickets you want to buy? If it's 1, of course you'll be charged for the 1 movie. If it's 5, you'll be charged for 5, so times 5. Now the next thing is you'll be told to prompt, so you'll be told to enter the customer name, the phone number. Don't use your, I've never tried, maybe I should try. Anyway, use an M-Pesa number, yeah, and then ensure that the quantity of number of tickets, so the number of tickets should be, if it's 5, it's 1, etc. So you show the user. If you're okay until that point in time, give me a thumbs up if you understand. If you understand, give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. Yeah, so they select, you give the quantity you want, and now a better thing, also show the user, just show the user the total amount, yeah, so you can show even the interface, yeah, so that they know, this is the total amount I'm paying. So they're not, of course they'll not be surprised, most likely they know, but especially when you're booking. Let me show you an example of a system where we do that. Of course this one doesn't use Daraj, it uses something different, but you can have a look at it. Now if you go to book now, if you try to make a booking, oops, okay, there it is. Now if I select, so you can see here I have a total of 0, a subtotal of 0. Now if I select 2, you can see now I have times 2. So just show the user that they are doing times 2. If I add another one, let's say they are selecting more movies, just show them that they have also selected other movies. This is just an example from a booking system, but I hope you're getting my point when I say just show the user subtotal. If you understand, give me a thumbs up. If you understand, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, just show the subtotal. And then I've remembered something. In our system, we are not supporting purchase of several movies, only 1 movie. Anyway, away with that. So we're going to just stick to what we have. Now, if you're okay until this point in time, except of course Salim, the 2 questions, and maybe the push request table, give me a thumbs up. If you're okay on everything else, give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down so that I can respond to your query. If not, give me a thumbs down so that I can respond to your query. Okay, great. Good, I assume we are together. Now, with that in mind, after having the prompting for booking details, now we need to submit the booking data. You need to do what? You submit. Now, we have 2 options. Normally I use an API, yeah. So I just use an API and send the JSON back. Or you can even submit via HTML form. Highly unlikely I'll do that, but also it works. So you just take it, if you've worked with a web application, you know how to send data back to the server. If you know, give me a thumbs up. Maybe I shouldn't assume. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. I should not assume. It may not be as trivial as it seems. Hello? If not, give me a thumbs down. Don't worry, I will explain. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. Actually, not knowing is good. You're given a chance to know. Okay, I have one not know, so I'm going to show you an example. However, the example I'm going to show you involves some code, unfortunately, because I was not prepared for this section whereby you don't know how to do for the API. Now, I'm going to show you an example. I think I have a system here that does that. Don't worry, what I'm trying to do on the terminal, unfortunately, I don't have an IDE, but don't worry, it will be clear. Okay, let it load. So this is the project itself. So this is the project that I was showing you on the other side, this one, for auctions right here for Q&A Foundation. Now, when you check here, we see that we have like wait, so it's almost here. If you're not familiar with JavaScript, give me a thumbs up. If you're not familiar with JavaScript, give me a thumbs up. If you're not familiar with JavaScript, okay, Hashim. Anyone else? Okay. Hashim, don't worry, it's more like Python in some way. Yeah. So I'm going to show you. Where is it? Now, here you will see, sorry, up here. I'm going too far. Now, here you'll see we have picked the phone number. We have picked the amount the person has, and then these other two details. Now, this is not similar to the system we are using, so don't worry about these. It's not similar. So in this case, we would have just taken the movie ID, but in our case, these two are important. That's why I've taken them. But now you see phone number. This is the data we'll send to the backend. If you can see that, give me a thumbs up. Those three things. The phone number, the amount that you want to pay, and the two things. Of course, in our case, we'll just take the movie ID. If you understand, give me a thumbs up. That we will be taking them. Don't need to understand how it works. Just understand that those are the things that we'll be taking to the back end. If you understand that those are the things we'll be taking to the back end, give me a thumbs up. Yeah. Now, after doing that, what I will do, I will send a request. Yeah. So this is a request I'm sending, which will now take the data that I have, the phone number, amount, and user ID back to the back end. Let me show it to you. Sorry, codes can be a little bit large. Codes can be a little bit large. But now, when you look here, I want you to look at line 107. If you're there, give me a thumbs up. If you can see line 107, I've highlighted, give me a thumbs up. I want us to be together. Give me a thumbs up if you've seen it. I'm sorry I have to switch between them, but I hope you can see it when I come back here. 107, that's what I want you to see. Give me a thumbs up if you can see that. It's important, yeah? If you can see that, give me a thumbs up here. I'm saying extract past JSON values. I'm taking the phone number, I'm taking the amount, user ID, of course, I'm going to extract it from, yeah, and then I'm also taking the auction ID. Those are coming from where I'd shown you. If you can see that, you can give me a thumbs up. Sorry about moving back and forth. Okay, now that's what I was illustrating. So you take it from the front end, you send it to the back end, yeah, where the processing will actually be done. So when you look at here, I'm going to now process it. I'm going to check if the auction is there. I told you, don't ensure that the movie is there. If the movie is not there, give an error. In this case, I'm confirming that is the auction actually there. If it's not there, I'm going to return an error, yeah, and then that's where I'm going to handle the payment stuff. I'm not going to go to the payment stuff. It's not, we haven't reached there, but I hope you have understood. And I say you're taking the data from the front end to the back end. If you understand that, give me a thumbs up. So we're going to give the movie ID, okay, yeah, and then you're also going to give the number of tickets we want. We're going to give the phone number and the username. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down. I need to ensure that we are all at par. No one is left behind. So don't worry, don't be afraid to say that you have not understood. It's a good thing for me to recap. Okay, I want to take that as a sign that we are all together. Yeah, so we take the data. In this case, it's a movie. So what do? You take, in this case, you submit the movie ID. Like I did the other side, I was using auctions, yeah. I take the customer name, I take the phone number and the quantity, we send it to the back end, yeah. Now, if the front end and back end are sub, we use HTML, but in this case, I told you you're using JSON, yeah. So we use JSON, you send it back. Now, if you're together until this point in time, give me a thumbs up. If you're together until this point in time, give me a thumbs up. Sorry for the frequent asking, give me a thumbs up. It's to ensure that no one is left behind, yeah. It's to ensure no one is left behind in any point in time. I don't know how to interpret of the rest. Okay, I'll make an assumption. It's fine. Now, after that, now once you get to the system, what do? You create the ticket record. What have you done? You've submitted the data to the backend. What do? You create the ticket record. So what do? You give the movie ID, your customer name, total amount, you calculate it, then you do the payment status to pending, the receipt number, we leave them as null. Remember, at this point in time, the transaction has not been done. So there is no need to store the receipt number, so you leave it blank. Yeah, there's no need to store the transaction date, you leave it blank. Why are we doing this? Because you have not received we have not done the transaction. Where can the receipt number come from if you have not done the transaction? Yeah, for the status, we leave it at pending because it's neither complete and neither failed. Now, for the total amount, we just calculate it so that we have like the total amount and the number of tickets they want, yeah? Sorry, the price and the tickets they want. Then for the customer name, of course, we store them directly. Now, let me show that all here. So what do you do? To create your ticket, what do? You store, of course, ticket ID will be done automatically. You store the movie ID, you store the name that came from the front end, you store the phone number that came from the front end, you store the number of tickets that came from the front end, you calculate the total amount, which is quantity times the price, you store this payment status as pending, you leave the receipt number blank, you leave transaction date blank, the rest will be auto-calculated. If you're okay until this point in time, you understand, give me a thumbs up. Where those values are coming from, give me a thumbs up. If it's clear where those values are coming from, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, so they came from the front end. You now create a ticket record whereby you store those values, and then you auto calculate for those which are auto calculated. If it's not there, don't store it. There's no need to store a receipt number. The transaction is not yet done. There's no need to store a transaction date. All right. Now, time is not on our side. Now, the next thing, what do? You format the M-Pesa number. Now, to make it clear, we have some, normally we do for numbers like this. I'm going to just show you maybe from here. We do 0725, this is my mom's number, 820, something like that, yeah? And then, when it comes to the new ones, like mine is 01147423448, yeah? So, those are the numbers we know. Sometimes you go and extend and say, +254, so +2541147423448. And some say plus 0725820 yeah, something like that. 820545. Oh, sorry, +254. Now, if you're familiar with these formats, give me a thumbs up. If you're familiar with these formats, give me a thumbs up. If you're familiar with those formats, give me a thumbs up. However, to break your bubble, Safaricom, okay, Daraja API does not accept that format. What does it accept? It must always start with +54. Where are we at? Here. So you remove the plus in this case. If it's like that, you remove the plus. If it's like that, you remove the plus. If it's like that, you remove the 0 and do 254. If it's like that, you remove the 0 and do 254. So there's no plus, it must always start with a 254 and then the normal format. Don't put a 0. If you understand that, give me a thumbs up. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. You do 254, there's no 0 and there's no plus. You do 254, there's no 0, there's no plus. That is something important. Otherwise, it will fail. Yeah? Otherwise, it will fail. Okay, if you're together until that point in time, give me a thumbs up. If you're together until that point in time, give me a thumbs up. If you're together until that point in time, give me a thumbs up. So no plus, no 0. Now, the next thing, now for my program, sometimes users make, at first I always ask them, can you put 254? Don't add a plus, but users ni akina nani? Wanaanza kuweka plus, wanaanza na 0, alafu wanakupigia simu, wanampigia mwenyewe, haifanyi kazi, inaanza kuwa tatizo. Sorry for the Swahili, for those who understand. Now, so it becomes a problem. Now, what do I do? When you look at my code here, my JavaScript for the front end, there's a code I call format the phone number. So what I do, I remove any non-digit, and then I handle the different formats. So if it starts with 254, I leave it like that. If it starts with a 0, I remove. If it starts with a 0, I do the 254, I remove the 0, and then do the rest. So if it starts with a plus, I remove the plus. Basically, just the same thing you are doing. If it's +254, remove the plus. Some users, sometimes they are unpredictable. So you remove the plus. If it starts with a 0, you add the 254 and remove the 0. If it starts with 254, you leave it blank. Now, let me show you in real life. Maybe you had not noticed it earlier. If I try to place another bid, if I try to say, notice it will start with 01, it will be done automatically. So if I do +254, even does not accept. I try to do a plus, does not accept, yeah? If I just do 254, it is left alone. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. So to make your life, your user's life easier, just do it for them, yeah? We are capable. Do it for them. Don't wait for them to make mistake. After all, for you as a business, okay, maybe for a developer, if you're working for your company, I want people to work with my app and pay. That's my objective. I should get traction, yeah? I should get revenue. So you should ensure that there is no hindrance to that being achieved. If you're okay until that point in time, give me a thumbs up. If you're okay until that point in time, give me a thumbs up as we proceed, yeah? Time is not on our side. All right. Great. Now, I'm going to go to the next phase. Now, after you format, what happens? Now, after you format is now when you initiate an STK push request. I repeat, after you format is when you initiate an STK push request, whereby you call Safaricom's STK push API using the formatted number and the total amount. So you don't give them, why I say total amount, you know, sometimes maybe the ticket was a 900, someone bought 5 tickets and you forgot to use 900 times 5, so you put 900, ensure that's 900 times 5 so that they given the right amount. Yeah, so you do the STK push. Now, I'm not going to look at STK push right now, we are going to look at it later, but just know that that's the next step. Just know that's the next step. If that's okay, give me a thumbs up. So after formatting the number, you provided and do the STK push. You want to look at the STK push itself, we'll look at it later. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. And you're okay with that, give me a thumbs up. You're doing abstraction. You don't want to handle everything today and then get confused. Now, after doing the STK push, what happens? It will give a response. Yeah, after doing the STK push, it will give a response. Now, part of the response, I think I can try to simulate it here. I'm not sure that this one is functional. Let me try it out. Sometimes code breaks. Let me try it out and then I print it for you and then you see. Oops, okay. So clear, really quick so that you can see the response. There's no VNV here. I don't have time to install. Share for a moment, just for a moment, and then I showcase it to you and then I will share back. Just a moment. My screen, allow me to share my screen. I'm going to show you how the response looks like and then I show you why it is important. Now I'm going to start my server. So I'm starting my server. This is the server that we are working on this other side. Yeah, this is the server that we are working on. Oh, I need to share my whole screen, sorry. Let me share my whole screen. Present something else, entire screen, that. So I'm going to show you, of course I cannot simulate it in the, I told you the code is broken. Now I'm going to show you with the real server. Now this is the server right here. I'm going to send a request. I'm going to make a payment. Now here I'm going to use a bid amount over 50, of course. Then I'm going to do place bid. Yeah, place bid. Now, when I place bid, so requests accepted for processing, it has come on my phone. However, I'll reject it. I'll just cancel. So when it cancels, you'll see up here. That's not the motive, of course, but you'll just see here. It will say it will not do anything. Yeah. So there's that. So request cancelled by user. Yeah. So I canceled the request. And when you look here, there's no payment. So it has not been recorded because I cancelled the payment. But now, what is of important? You'll see here. This is what was returned. So you see, we have merchant ID. We have checkout request ID. This is what I'm talking about, the checkout request ID. It will be returned when you do the STK push. Yeah, that's why it said success. What's the message? Request accepted for processing. What did I do? So you have the checkout request ID. This is of importance. If you can see the checkout request ID, give me a thumbs up. If you can see it from the response. So when I made the request, when I did the STK push, that's where the checkout request ID comes in. I'm not producing it myself. I'm not doing anything. It's just coming from the response when I do the STK push. Yeah. Now, after I did the STK push, now that's what we got the checkout request ID, and it was told that success, the request accepted for processing. Now, let's go back to our topic. Time is rushing out. Okay. Now, in our topic, you can see that what do? You, on receiving the STK push response, you extract the checkout request ID. This is what we are talking about. This value, this one, this WS whatever CO blah blah blah. That's what we are extracting. Now we extract it, then what do? We create a push request record with the ticket ID. So which ticket ID are we dealing with? We put that one. Then the next one, we also give the checkout request ID, but the other ones will be auto handled. Now let's go back to our design here. When we look at push request ID, we have the primary key up here. We have the associated ticket ID. Then the checkout request ID is the one coming from Safaricom. Now, why is the checkout request important? Now, Safaricom does not know about our system. I repeat, Safaricom does not know about our system. I need to look at you. Where is it? Here. Now, Safaricom does not know about our system. Does not know we are dealing with movies, whether we are paying for a restaurant, whether we are paying for a bid or an auction. It does not know whether we are paying for a domain name, or we are paying for a ticket. It does not know at all. Or even you're paying for a Vieta, whatever you're doing here, does not know. What does it know? It will give you a checkout request ID. Now, you're supposed to store it on your system to be able to track that particular transaction. I repeat, this checkout request ID is the one that will be used to track your transaction. If you want to check how is the transaction going, use the checkout request ID. How is this going? You look at the checkout request ID. So you're not giving Safaricom, just ticket ID 1. It is the ticket ID 7, it's ticket ID 10. No, you'll be using what they have given you, the checkout. Now, in this case, what we are trying to do here, we are trying to associate that checkout request ID that we have been given by Safaricom, we associate it with our ticket, so that whenever we see the checkout request ID, we know, it's for that particular ticket. Because sometimes you can find 10 people are trying to make a payment. So how will you know this checkout request is for this ticket? So this one is the one which enables us. So we know that, this checkout request ID, it's actually associated with this ticket. This checkout request ID is actually for this order, if you're doing an ordering. This checkout request ID, it's actually for this, let's say you're doing a ticket to travel, etc. If it's an aviator, it is for that particular session. It knows that. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. Okay, if it's making sense. Why the checkout request ID? Safaricom does not know about our system. It does not know whether we are dealing with a restaurant. Does not know whether we are dealing with a betting. It does not know whether we are dealing with an order management system. So it gives us a checkout request ID so that we are able to keep track. Now, if you just leave it like that, it will be lost after some time. How will you know that this checkout request ID is for that ticket? So what do? We create that table so that we have, this ticket ID is actually for this, because it will be a record. So this record, it has this ticket ID and checkout request. So whenever I want to it will come at a point where we have to update whether it's paid or not paid. That's when we'll check, which actually, it has been paid, good. But which ticket is it for? It is for this ticket, and then we update. I don't know if it's clear. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down. We need to keep track, yeah? We need to keep track. This checkout request alone, it can be lost, yes, but now we need to know which ticket is it. This ticket, good, when it comes to updating at a later stage. So checkout request ID is very important. We'll look at it now when we look at the STK push. But later on, when we look at the callback URL. Don't worry about that. But I hope we are okay. Time is not on our side, but I'm determined to just end it. We're almost done. Now, after doing that, we now have something called callback handling. Now, callback handling is something else. This is where Safaricom tells me, this is the status of this transaction. Is it successful? We save it. Is it failed? We save it. Now, I'm going to be really quick. I don't like going beyond time, so I'm going to be really quick. Now, when it comes to successful, Safaricom will give you that checkout request ID again. I repeat, when the transaction is successful, in the callback handling, we look at what it is. It will give you that checkout request ID. Now, this checkout request ID, you will go to the push request table and look which record has that checkout request ID. And then if you find that record, you look which is the associated ticket ID, because every record, it has checkout request and the ticket ID. So we know it is C blah, 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 blah. So which ticket is it? I don't know if I'm clear. If I'm clear, give me a thumbs up. So it will give you the checkout, and then you have to compare which ticket is actually associated with this checkout request ID. Yeah. So you've been given Safaricom doesn't know about your ticket, doesn't know about your food, etc. So it will give you the checkout request, then you compare. So how, with this checkout request, which ticket ID is associated? Now, after doing that, After doing that, what do you do next? You update that ticket, because we know this ticket. So you update it as the status as paid, because we are sure the status of the ticket, it's a paid one. Also, Safaricom gives you a receipt number, you also update. Also, Safaricom gives you a transaction date, you also update. Yeah, we'll look at this later on. Time is not on our side. In the next session, we'll find time and then see how does this actual response look like. If you're okay until that point, give me a thumbs up. How we get the ticket, and then we update it. If you understand how we getting this actual ticket and we don't get it wrongly, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, if not, give me a thumbs down, then I will repeat in the next session. If not, give me a thumbs down. Okay, so checkout request ID, it is for this ticket. You update that ticket. Without that, it becomes difficult. Now, for the last one, I have like a minute. So for the transaction failed, you do the same thing. You check out, because Safaricom, even if it is failed, it will give you a checkout request ID. So what do? You check in the push request table. What is there such a checkout request ID? You say, yes. Now, what is the associated ticket ID? It is ticket ID number 1. Okay, great. Now you update that ticket as a failed one. So you update a payment status as failed. You leave the others as null, because the payment failed. How can you have an M-Pesa receipt number if the payment failed? So you leave them like that, yeah. But up here, what do? You update the receipt number and the transaction date, because it will give you, yeah, it will give you. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. If it's clear, give me a thumbs up. How we handle. Hopefully, I just pray it's clear. If not, you look at it later. If it's still difficult, you can consult. Okay, so that's it for today. All of these down here. Okay, the last thing is you have to do number 5. We'll look at it in the next class. However, all of this is just the same thing we have said up here. It's just done in a diagram. For example, here you just give the start, you display the movies, you select the movie, you collect the details, you create the ticket as pending etc. You format the number, you initiate the push, you store, you wait for the callback. If it's a success, you do that. If it's a failure, you do that. In the same here, yeah. So all the same things. Look at them in the next class, and then we can proceed from there. Okay. I hope you have learned something for today. We are going to also have a recap in the next class as we move forward. We have a short timeline, but I hope you have learned something. Yeah, so I'm going to release you. Cheers, and let's meet in the next class on Wednesday. Yeah, shukran. I always ask a question at the end of the class to ask whether people have understood, but you're quite a number. I cannot do that, yeah? You're quite a number. I cannot do that. Shukran. Nimechoka bwana. Mpaka kwa imekauka. Acha niache kurecord. Nilikuwa na record nadhani. Sikuwa na record. Nimechoka bana.